Evening, Cheyenne. Hi. Evening, Marty.
Hello.
Trip over each other to get there first. It's funny, everybody saw on that side.
Any additions or anything? That's good. All right, so I will call to order Chisholm City Council meeting, February 28th, 2024. Good evening, everyone. Everyone at home watching live, good evening. Susan, would you please take roll call?
Councillor Halverson.
Present.
Councillor Michael-Raha. Present. Councillor Fountain. Absent. Councillor Helva.
Present.
Councillor Baki. Absent. Mayor Lance.
Here. All right, council, I'd look for a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support.
Thank you, Jed. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Pledge allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, council, we have public participation tonight. Please welcome Georgia Lane on behalf of age-friendly designations. Good evening.
Hi, thanks everyone. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you to Stephanie Straba for inviting me here tonight to talk to you guys. My name is Georgia Lane. I'm with the Arrowhead Area Agency on Aging. We are a division of ARDC, so the Arrowhead Regional Development Commission. Here to talk a little bit tonight, and I have about 10 minutes, is that right? Okay, cut me off if I need. About age-friendly community work that's happening. These have been a lot of discussions that have been happening throughout communities throughout the region. So just a huge credit to Stephanie and team for taking this and running with it. I think it was a couple years ago where we came and talked, maybe a year ago, just about our aging demographics and some things that communities can do, as well as potential funding that can come into communities as a result of this. So I'm here to kind of give you guys the nuts and bolts and happy to answer any questions. Slides. So a very interesting fact, half of today's 5-year-olds will live to be 100. Pretty scary to think of, and exciting, I guess, if we have kids. So we're in the midst of a longevity revolution. People are living longer, healthier lives. That can be a good thing, but we need to think about what kind of communities do we want to live in as we age. In 2020, we have more people 65 and older in Minnesota than we do people 18 and under. So we have tipped the scales. This is a national and global trend. This actually happened earlier in rural communities where we are aging much faster than rural communities. I think we can look around within our communities and in our workplaces for signs that we are aging. We feel it in the workforce. We feel it within healthcare. We know that the baby boom generation is currently in the process of retiring. So Minnesota's oldest residents, those 85 and above, are expected to more than double in the next 35 years. The number of people turning 65 this decade is greater than the last 4 decades combined. These are all trivia facts for you to remember. And we want to think about people 65 and older or people 60 and older, however we consider old. It's a very arbitrary term. As integral community members, we're all aging. It's not something that's just happening to those other people. We are all aging, and if we're lucky enough, we are all going to get quote-unquote old. And so we want to think about how do we help our community be great places for all ages. Next slide. So you can flip through these pretty quickly. 93% of people 65 and older live in their communities. Only about 4.5%. I gotta take that there. Only 4.5% live in an assisted living, 2.5% in a nursing home. So many times when we talk about aging and what that means, people automatically go to nursing homes, assisted livings, what kind of care. Only 21% of people 65 and older receive supports and services through Older Americans Act funding. So that tells me that the majority of people live at home in their community without supports. So how do we help communities retain and recruit people after retirement age so it can be a great place for all people to live? Not only that, how do we capitalize on the assets that older adults bring into other communities? Next slide. So I pulled some data from the Northland Connection. You can see that close to 1 in 3 people in Chisholm are 60 and older, and that's going to continue to grow. Next slide. We also know the economic benefit and the economic value that older adults bring. Older adults hold the majority of wealth in our country and contribute more proportionally to the GDP. So this is some statistics from the AARP. In 2018, the 50-plus population accounted for 36% of our population, but contributed to 42% of our GDP. So we really want to think about how do we include older adults as assets to our economy, as workers, as consumers, and recognizing the contributions that older adults provide. Next slide. You can see this is more information on GDP. It's going to continue to grow. The amount that older adults contribute to our economy is going to continue to grow. And guess what? More older adults live in rural areas. So that's probably more proportionally affected. So they'll contribute more to GDP if you go county by county than younger adults do. So what? So this is what we're here to talk about tonight. There is a global designation. So if you guys move forward with this, you'll enter into a global network that is put forth by the World Health Organization. AARP is the U.S. affiliate, and it is a 5-year process that allows communities to plan and structure work that's probably already happening already, but you can incorporate an age-friendly lens. And so a global age-friendly network is sort of a roadmap to help make changes in your community, a way to bring like-minded organizations together, a lens to approach projects, and it's an organizing structure to get work done. There's work happening statewide. In 2019, there was a Governor's Council on Age-Friendly Minnesota that was formed. And in 2021, the state of Minnesota as a state entered into this AARP network. And subsequently, the state legislature allocated $6 million to be invested into age-friendly projects. So that funding is currently underway right now. There will be a second round of funding that's open July 2024. So you guys are right at the sweet spot for timing here. Currently in our 7-county Arrowhead region, there was a little over $850,000 that has been invested so far in age-friendly projects. So that's a big deal. Everything from, if you've been to Aurora, the pickleball court, they converted the tennis courts to the pickleball courts. Some of that was age-friendly dollars. And I won't go too much more into that, but there's opportunities for all of Chisholm and Northern St. Louis County to be able to tap into some of those funds. And if it's not that pot of dollars, I think this helps give a more formal structure to be able to bring dollars into your community. Next slide. So we are here at the pre-planning phase. That arrow should actually be up a little bit, and I think you guys are right at the cusp for jumping in. So what if you approve this resolution and enter into the network, this goes into AARP. I know Stephanie's been doing a lot of conversations and just talking with folks. There's so much that's already happening in Chisholm that I think this really kind of gives you a feather in your hat for the great work that's already being done. And it kind of just formalizes it. And so this is kind of the process. AARP, my role with an area agency on aging is to be a resource, to kind of make sure you're not reinventing the wheel, talk about what other age-friendly communities are doing, but it starts with an initial assessment and planning. So what does our community need? You can go to the next slide because I'm going to talk. It's structured under 8 domains. And so if you look at, it's actually under 9 domains because we added disaster preparedness, and I just got your wonderful EMS person. So, work is already happening in these areas. But when you do your community assessment, or you could build off existing assessments, these are the 9 domains that you will look at. Housing, outdoor spaces, and transportation are sort of around the built environment. And then the other ones are around, civic participation and employment. Workforce is a big issue. Health services, communication, respect, and social participation, as well as disaster preparedness. So you can choose to focus on one or more of these, or kind of house existing work that's happening under there. And there's a lot of ways to slice it and dice it. So that's kind of just a peek at some of the work that will happen as in years 1 and 2. After you do your assessment, you come up with an action plan. This can be in alignment with your current strategic plan. It could inform your strategic plan. You can work with public health and county officials to sort of align some of those community needs, and then action plans that follow after that. So lots of ways to do that. So where we're at right now, convening community stakeholders and leaders to explain the concept. We're actually fairly in a step 2 is kind of a huge credit to you guys in Chisholm for Stephanie just kind of raising her hand. I've been in a lot of communities, and other folks have been in some of those meetings where there's just not that level of engagement from a city. So I just think that y'all should recognize her a little bit and say, I'm really grateful for that, because that doesn't happen in every community. Everybody kind of looks around and says, I don't want more work to do. I don't have the time to do this, but I think Stephanie really caught on that this is what's already happening anyways, and it might help open some doors and advance some other work that's going on. So you guys are kind of at that step 2. Step 3 is kind of thinking through what additional funding or resources, people resources, planning resources, and then it's entering it in the AARP process and following the 5-year assessment and action planning process. So community assets, you guys have got a lot already, but when we think about age-friendly, this isn't kind of like a one person, one organization, one city person who's going to do it. It takes everyone around the table. And it's a way to kind of organize work that you want to, things that you already work on. So you want to look at who are your active community advocates. Do you have people 60 and older at the table? Do you have active volunteers? I know you guys have the senior center that's really active. We have 2 different senior groups, so I really encourage to have those voices at the table. Obviously your city, county, and township officials, if you have township folks who might be interested. Existing community needs assessments, so if you already have some of those planning documents in place, local health services, community nonprofits, public libraries. Chambers of commerce is really interesting to make sure you have business involvement, both from like an economic standpoint of like what, who's shopping in your business and what can you do to be more age friendly, to how do you help employers who might be aging or people who are caregiving for somebody who's an older adult. So really having that business voice at the table is important. Don't forget your community ed, your school districts, local foundations, and funders. So it's really up to every community to kind of figure out who can be part of the conversation. So potential outcomes, increasing conversations, retaining and attracting people to live, work, and play here, or to support and bolster existing work. And really, it's up to you what you guys want to see as outcomes. So I think that's where some of the magic happens is like, what do we already got going here? What do we want to keep going? What might be some areas that we want to continue to, shed light on, or what are other age-friendly communities doing? How have they found this beneficial? So we did a bit of a deep dive with Princeton. I thought this was interesting because it's a little bit bigger city than Chisholm, but they joined in 2022, and they have a co-convened situation by their city administrator and a community volunteer. So they kind of tag team on that. They have representation from community service organizations, transportation providers, their local health system, chambers of commerce, older adult community members, business owners, senior housing providers, area agency on aging, which is me, their city administrator, city development planner, community ed. My favorite thing is their city serves as their fiscal agent, and they started with a $100 donation from their local liquor store. So they had businesses at the table and got subsequent funding, and then got a transportation grant from AERP, and they have just got incredible work. So currently in Minnesota, I believe there's 22. You guys might be the 23rd. City, or you can have a county or a township that takes this on. So there's lots of different communities that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, although every community is unique, so you get to choose what this looks like for you. And then topics for discussion, not right here, but I think as you guys are out in your community talking to other people within your, whether it's at your kid's school or at the hockey game, which I know is happening tonight against Hermantown, so let's be quick here. I won't say that I'm from Hermantown. Sorry about that. So get a buzz going. You want to get a buzz going about what this is about and what does the community want? Like, what do they need? Why should we care about aging? Well, let's just look around because we're all doing it, and that's where you need older adults in your community. So how will it help you? What does it take? Financial resources, staff time, and expertise. And then how will it help you do what you already want to do? So just questions for consideration. And with that, I'll take questions, comments. I'll also just say thanks to Cheryl Elge, who's representing St. Louis County Public Health. It's been great to see St. Louis County popping up here for at this and at many other age-friendly meetings to kind of wrap their head around as a county public health, like how do we work with this, right? How do we, because aging issues, quote unquote, can't just be belonging to one sector, it really affects everyone. So I think that's great. We don't see that in many counties. We don't, I was just over in Itasca County, we're not seeing that, although we hope to work towards that. So I think you guys in a lot of ways might use you as some shining star examples.
Oh, thank you, Georgia. You're right. I think a lot of people would like to hitch their wagon in Chisholm here because we are. Like you said, you gave some applause to Steph, and yeah, absolutely, she's doing a wonderful job. So, thank you very much. I don't have any questions.
Questions?
Marty, any questions?
No.
I'm good.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to council reports. Councilor Halva, what's with you tonight?
Good evening. I attended the working session after our council meeting last 2 weeks ago. I attended the PUC meeting. I worked as election judge down at one of our local care facilities and held a precinct caucus last night and encouraged everybody to go vote in the presidential primary next week.
Thank you very much. Councilor McGraw, good evening.
Good evening. I attended the League of Minnesota Cities leadership workshop that they offer in Plymouth a couple of weeks ago. As always, great information. Highly recommend people attend if they're able to. It's awesome. And we are continuing to move through the selection process for the next executive director for the HRA. That's all I've got for updates.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I have no report. I'm going to read this report here for Councilor Baki, who is absent tonight. It said, Council and constituents of Chisholm, my apologies for missing tonight's meeting due to work. It's a busy time for me. Tonight I am honored to be able to be presenting Chisholm's own senior Ben Thompson with the AAA award for the MSHLSL for our subsection. The the presentation is in Duluth. So thank you, Councilor Vaki, and congratulations to our senior Ben Thompson. Councilor Helverson, good evening.
Good evening. Since our last meeting, the only thing I attended was another Redhead Planning Committee meeting.
Thank you. Moving along, ambulance director, Tiffany. Good evening.
Good evening. I just have the smallest update. We did get inspected by the EMSRB yesterday regarding our part-time ALS license. From what I understand, everything went well, and now we just have to wait for the board to pass the part-time ALS March 21st, and then the 5 paramedics that are employed on our roster can start performing work as a paramedic. So we're making the steps. They are happening. That's all I have.
Okay, and I can attest, as Councilor Hollova can also, the work that you've been putting in down there. There's a lot going on, so very busy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Fire chief is out tonight. I know they are participating in a joint training in French with the DNR, going over the wildfire season, and we actually just had our first one on Sunday in February. So it could be a very terrible spring. Police chief is out this evening. Building official out this evening. City engineer, Mr. Johnson, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. With the beautiful spring weather that's coming, I want to announce, and you're invited to attend next Wednesday morning, 11 o'clock. We are going to have our pre-construction conference for our 5th Street South project. So 11 o'clock next Wednesday morning here at City Hall. And to the residents out there, we would appreciate getting some more calls to get your sewer line televised. We're not getting a whole lot of response, and if they don't cooperate, there are penalties in our charter that we don't want to become too abusive, but we're also paying extra money for clean water going into our sanitary sewer system. So we want to encourage those residents to call Denise at 7905, I believe. Yes, 254-7905 to call and get arrangements made to get your sewer televised, please. Thank you.
Perfect. Jim, would you touch base real quick? I missed most of the meeting for the public safety building, but a few of us were lucky enough to get a tour on Tuesday after. Can you just give everybody an update on what it is in there?
It's becoming obvious where everybody's going to be sitting. Walls are going up. Most of the piping and so forth seems to be getting done. Sheetrock on offices is going up. Framing of doors is going up. Really, the exterior of the building. And I would encourage you to go look at the exterior. If you looked at north exposure, looking to the north, or actually being on Lake Street, looking to the south, see that north end of the building. The building brick colors are beautiful there. The 2 shades of gray or charcoal, so it's starting to take shape on the outside. I think most of the plastic wrapping exterior work is being done. I think most of the roof work is being done. Stephanie?
Yep. I just got a report from the contractor on that site, and we're at 77% completion on the building. So we are anticipating still on time and on budget, so we should be moving in June. It's coming along well.
In the Bay Area for the EMS and for the fire departments, all the doors and big springs to roll them up and down are all there waiting to be installed. And see, I was trying to think, quite frankly, a lot of the painting and stuff is going on now. Wall finishing, interior and painting and so forth isn't really now proceeding. So A&P is doing a great job on our behalf and coordinating contractors and the contractors coordinating with each other to not get in each other's way and to help each other to make it go much more quickly and without tripping over one another or destroying others' work. So it's proceeding very well, and I think, like Stephanie said, probably the big holdup is going to, could be, but maybe not this spring, is really finishing up probably the exterior work, the parking lots, putting in the curb and gutter and the pavement will depend on when those contractors can start working. But maybe it'll be April 1 this year rather than May. So, Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks,
You're
Jim.
welcome.
Thanks, Jim.
Public Works, good evening.
It's in the agenda, Mayor.
Okay. City Parks, Trails, Ms. Maruska, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I wanted to share that this last Friday, Stephanie and I attended the ACEC Awards. It's an engineering award in St. Paul, and Redhead won an award, so I think we might be up to 5 awards in total now, but Bar Engineering won 2 awards for the engineering work on Redhead, and that was the Grand Award and the People's Choice Award. There's only one People's Choice Award, so that was exciting. And now Pete Carroll from Bar will be attending the National Awards in Washington, D.C. for Redhead projects, so that will be shared in D.C., so that's exciting. An RFP will be coming at the next council meeting to go out to bid for trail builders on the expansion through LCCMR. And then I think if you've been on social media, you saw that the rink closed. We just couldn't keep the ice functional, so that has wrapped up for the season as of last week, and soccer sign-up should start at the end of this week. So that's what's happening in rec. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City Library, Ms. Christensen, good evening.
Good evening, everyone. This morning we had the 4th graders, the Chisholm 4th graders, visit the library for a wrap-up on their participation at the winter reading program. So we read a story, checked out some books, and we did a craft where they actually had a button maker where they got to design and create their own take-home buttons. Chisholm students are always an enthusiastic group to visit at the library, so it was fun to have them. Tomorrow is the end of the winter reading program, and we had 125 people participate this year. Tax prep is going very well. In the month of February, we had 48 people file their taxes. The schedule is booked through March, but we do have some availability on April 4th and April 11th if anyone is at home and looking for help on their taxes. And just a reminder that there's no restrictions on age or income. It's a free resource to anybody. And so just give us a call if you want to make an appointment. I think that's all I have.
Katie,
Thank you.
City Attorney, Colleen, welcome.
Welcome. Good evening, everybody. I don't have a formal report, but I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
City Clerk Treasurer, Ms. good evening.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, members of council. Just a couple of things in regard to the election. We have a public accuracy testing event tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. here at the chambers, council chambers at City Hall. We will be testing the voting tabular equipment as well as the Omni ballot, which helps disabled individuals cast their vote. The public is welcome. Anyone is welcome to join us at that event. On Saturday, City Hall will be open extended hours to receive and process absentee ballots. City Hall will be open from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturday, March 2nd. The absentee voting period ends on Monday at 5 p.m. and City Hall will be open until then to accommodate any additional casting of absentee ballots. And don't forget to vote on Tuesday, March 5th, in the presidential nomination primary election. Polls will be open at the the Chisholm Arena from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I just wanted to let council know to anticipate the local board of appeal and equalization, which will be in April. I'll present something to council officially in the next council meeting. Any questions?
Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
City Administrator, Mr. Ava, good evening.
Good evening. Just a couple quick updates. We've been working with CTC. They will be doing a phased approach with the city buildings. As you know, we signed a contract with them for it will be internet, Wi-Fi, and telephone services, so we'll be moving forward. You'll see some of that coming up. Also our new camera contractor, that is also moving forward. Next week, we have a few representatives of the city going down to the Capitol, attending the St. Louis County Duluth Days, and then also the League of Minnesota Cities at the Capitol. So that will be great to be represented at that. We're also, we will have some representation going down with Rams to discuss EMS. So we'll be busy down at the Capitol coming up here in the next couple weeks. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Steph? Thank you, Steph. Moving along to consent agenda, which consists of the list of bills, communications, which are August 8th, 2023, library board meeting minutes, November 14th, 2023, library board meeting minutes, January 9th, 2024, Parks, Trails, and Rec advisory meeting minutes, thank you letter from Chisholm Community Foundation, and a Chisholm Community Foundation letter. Also, minutes of previous city council meeting, February 14th, 2024, regular meeting minutes, and the working session that followed, payroll and overtime. So I'd look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. No unfinished business, so moving along. Larry, good evening. Public Works Supervisor. Now, you got someone playing hockey tonight, don't you?
Nope,
No?
just watching one more
Okay.
year. With the nice weather, I would ask for your review support for the posting for the seasonal casual labor for Public Works. I think we should add the wage. That'll be the question, right? When people see the posting and, what's the pay, you know? So $12.50 to $15.50 is dependent on years of service. We get 50 cents for every year returning, so I'd ask for council approval to approve the post with the wage add.
Okay, council? We'll look for that motion.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, and then formally seek council approval to post to hire as budgeted. And the department heads will, we're still kind of working out, redhead / campground responsibilities and stuff, but we believe it's about 20 youth this year, so.
Okay.
So looking for approval to hire as budgeted.
Council, I'll look for that motion.
Make motion.
Thank you, Marty.
Support.
Thank you, Jed. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you,
It's the
Larry.
best crew we've had in my career last year, so tell your friends, get back, and
Yeah?
lots of work to be done.
Good. Thank you. Bridget, welcome back.
Thank you. I am looking for approval of the job description on page 18 of the Chisholm Summer Rec Program Specialist. This is quite often the younger, between age 16 and up, rec specialists who run Chisholm Summer Rec Program. In the job description changed from last year, it just increased by a quarter, I believe, to the salary range of $11 to $12.50 hourly. And then we cleaned up the language around physical demands and work environment so that it articulated the reasonable accommodations better.
Okay. Council, I'll look for a motion to approve the job description for the CSRP specialist.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support.
Thank you, Jed. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And looking also for approval to post up to 9 rec specialists for 2024, which is consistent from previous years.
Okay. Council, I'll look for that motion.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
I'll second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
One question. Is this the correct date on here? Is it 2022 or is it should be 24?
It should be 24 in the job posting.
In the posting, yeah. It still says 2023 in the posting. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4. I just happened to notice that.
Yeah. We need to amend that, or we can just fix that
I
grammar?
would just do another motion for the record to amend that.
Okay, Cheyenne? Is that on yours?
Yeah, I will amend my motion to include the correction.
Of the date?
The date.
Okay.
I'll
Jen?
amend the second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then the final one is approval to hire for the position up to 9 rec specialists.
Okay. Council, I'll look for that motion to hire up to 9 candidates.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Jed.
Support?
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Bridget. Katie, welcome back.
All right, on page 29, this is a policy that was originally created in 2015 as part of a requirement from the Arrowhead Library System. And it's been 10 years, so we decided to do some updating on it. So pages 29 through 32, you're gonna find the original policy titled material selection with some edits and track changes. And I'll just take a minute here to highlight a few of the changes that we made. The first thing would be changing the title from material selection to collection development. I just felt it gave like a more encompassing description of our efforts in creating an ongoing collection of material that is both relevant in times and an accurate reflection of our patrons like in our service area. On the same page 29, I striked out the second paragraph, and I just felt that was more of an overall goal or mission of the library as a whole and not so specific to the actual collection, so I just replaced some of that wording to be more specific to the collection. On page 30, I also felt it was important to highlight that the community has a huge role in shaping the library collection, and we do our best to choose items that are of interest to our patrons, in addition to their suggestions and feedback that they have. And in addition to the title changes and a few of the edits of the original policy, I also added the addition of a request for reconsideration form, and that would allow patrons to put any of their concerns in writing. And then from there, all the forms would be reviewed and handled in accordance just with an internal procedure. And that is on page 28, and that's the procedure for handling patrons' concerns that are actually specific to collection development. Does that make sense?
No?
Okay. Any questions on that?
I have none.
Okay.
No, anybody else has any? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the amended collection development policy.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Second.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good job. Thank you. Eileen, good evening. Welcome back.
Thank you, Mayor. So in your packet, on page 33 is pay equity report memorandum. And this is required according to the Minnesota Local Government Pay Equity Act. Local governments are required to submit a pay equity report every 3 years. And part of the process of gathering this data on the report that's on page 34 was to establish a job evaluation system. And in the past, the city has complied with this particular statute by utilizing an outside consultant to develop a job evaluation system. But this year, I changed it and chose to utilize the state job match evaluation system. which is more current. They have a guide that was released in March of 2023. So it's more current, and I believe it supports as far as the descriptions of jobs presented in that guide more closely to the positions we have here at our city. I also, there's a few exclusions. We did not include firefighters because they did not meet the 14 hours per week or 67 days a calendar year work requirement. In case you were wondering, they were excluded from this report. So I'm seeking council's approval of this report. Upon your approval, we'll submit it electronically to the state. Any questions on the report or how we arrived with any of this data?
Hey, council, I would look for a motion to approve submitting the report to the state of Minnesota.
Make a motion.
Thank you, Ted.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Stephanie.
Good evening. The next thing we have on the agenda is Wanda Clement had reached out to my office to inquire purchasing a vacant lot that the city owned. So there is a letter from her in your packet. She's requesting to purchase 319 3rd Avenue Northwest in the amount of $6,900.
Okay. And thank you, Ms. Clement. Just briefly, with my opinion here, this is the lot that was raised earlier in the year. I know in March, with what we have, and Wanda would not have any notice about this, and of course I agree. Anyone that has property wants more of it, especially in the area. But we have been actively working with a consultant to try to have it infill lots. And in my opinion, I think this really fills that what we have Bob Streeter working on for, putting up more homes in the area, filling in the smaller lots that can utilize a home that don't have one on it. That's just my opinion, but I think that would be a perfect opportunity for us with what we have there. So I know that's coming out in March, so I'm not sure. I would either, my opinion would be that we don't act on this, or we motion to refuse the offer, or we table it until after we sit down with Bob Streeter and see what he has planned.
Well, a couple questions. Yeah, it would be good to see what Bob Streeter's come up with, I think. Just for being thorough and not rushing into it. It'd be nice to know what these people plan for this lot. If they were going to, purchase it from the city, if they want to keep it vacant, or are they planning another house, garage?
I think a garage is kind of the intent of more space and.
That would be the goal, yes.
Oh. If it's a residual from the previous owner that didn't get paid, because the city wouldn't pay taxes on it, right, if the city owned.
Right, we just filed the document with the county for the taxes, so we have to file a document, any either vacant property or existing property that the city owns on what our use is, to become tax exempt, and we just submitted that this, last month, potentially.
Okay, so that might get wiped
I'd
out.
have to follow up to
Okay.
see for sure, but we did just submit that documentation on this property.
Okay, and maybe it's a residual from
Correct.
the transition
Yeah, I'd have to double
from
check on
the
it.
previous owner to the city, who knows?
Mr. Mayor, being we're doing that report with Bob Streeter, I think we should make a motion to table this until after the report and discuss it.
He'll be here in March to present.
Okay, is that a motion, Counselor?
Yep.
Thank you, Jed. Motion to table. Is there support?
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Wanda. We will reach out back out to you after that. Okay, moving on.
Next item on the agenda is following up from Georgia's presentation for the AARP Age Friendly. Like she said, she did come and meet with myself and Bridget about a year ago, and we just discussed some things that we had going on. Then we did attend a meeting in Hibbing a couple months ago, which kind of just got me thinking about does this fit with Chisholm? And there are a lot of things that we're already currently doing that would really make sense for this program. So I do think it's important for us to move forward. There's a lot of different kind of funding sources. We're looking at our aging buildings. We can look at our parks. We're already incorporating a lot of that into our park design. Even within our comp plan, you know, you always have to be ADA compliant, but just being more conscious of that. And we have the 73 project going on. All of the sidewalks will probably be redone with that due to ADA compliance, but just to be more, have it more at the forefront. We do have, I think, 8 to 10 citizens that are already interested in being on this coalition. So we will be able to move forward with that. I would appreciate the support for this. I think it would be great for our community to move forward and just go down that avenue. So like she said, it's about a 5-year process. So I'm looking for approval for that resolution.
Okay. And what exactly does the enrollment entail? The cost with that?
No, I don't believe so. So what we have to do is we have to have the resolution, and we have to have the support from the mayor and the city that we want to move forward in this. And then we would just start the process. She is kind of the liaison with AARP. I have had a representative from AARP reach out too, so I haven't had a lot of time to speak with him, but then they kind of guide you through that process. But I do not believe there's an upfront cost.
Excellent. Well, if there was, I think that's a no-brainer. So, council, I would look for a motion to approve resolution number 0224-26, the enrollment into the AARP's network of age-friendly communities.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you,
Since
Marty.
I'm the oldest.
I think we all fit in those demographics, you know, so it's
We're all
Not as close as me.
Oh.
This is going to affect me real soon.
well, we better get on it. Look for support.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. The youngest up here. Look at everybody's working together. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, last thing on the agenda, scheduling a working session for Strong Towns Council briefing, March 12th, 2024 at 4 p.m. So I'd look for a motion so we can schedule that, whether you can be there or not. But we obviously have to schedule a working session for a quorum.
Make the motion.
Thank you, Cheyenne.
Support.
Thank you, Marty. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Right.
Aye. Opposed? Motion
Aye.
carries. One nay. Moving on, miscellaneous. Just a quick update. I see the geese are back already, so that's a good sign. Other than that, Blue Streaks are playing tonight, huh? Chisholm Hibbing hockey. So I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion?
Thank you, Jed.
Support.
Thank you, Cheyenne. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I always want to say.